All right, we're gonna get started, everyone, okay? All right. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone to this hybrid public comment hearing conducted by the Energy Facilities Siting Board, docketed EFSB 2402, DPU 24190, called the Palmer to Ware Improvement Project by National Grid, which I will refer to as the project. And as an aside, we are on the record at this time now in EFSB 2402, DPU 24190. For audio-only participation, attendees can call in at 646-558-8656. This is not a toll-free number. And then enter the webinar ID 811-361-59773. Again, my name is Connor Tarr. I am the presiding officer in this proceeding, conducting the hybrid public comment hearing tonight. Here from the Energy Facilities Siting Board are others who will be involved in the review of this project. Andrew Green, Director of the Siting Division, and Wayne Wong, Assistant Director of the Siting Division. You also met one of our program coordinators, Jonathan Magesh, out in the lobby. Please let us know if you have any technical difficulties with Zoom tonight. You can call or text 857-200-0056 for assistance. This hybrid public comment hearing is being recorded, and the Siting Board will post a recording of the hearing on its YouTube channel as described in the notice. We are here tonight because New England Power Company, doing business as National Grid, which I will refer to as the company, seeks approval to replace an approximately 10-mile long overhead transmission line in Palmer, West Brookfield, and Ware. The company plans to remove the existing transmission line and 147 existing wood pole structures and install a replacement line on 112 steel structures in the same right-of-way. The company also plans to construct, reestablish, and improve utility access routes to the right-of-way. The replacement line would operate at 669 kilovolts, while the existing line, or like the existing line, but would be capable of operating at 115 kilovolts in the future if needed. The company will make a presentation tonight regarding its proposed project and, as appropriate, respond to questions related to its proposal. We have copies of the public notice on the table in the lobby. The Siting Board directed the company to provide this notice to residents and owners of property near the proposed project. The notice includes a map of the proposed project. Finally, information on the project is posted to the Siting Board website. You can find that link in the notice as well. If you are participating remotely using Zoom, you will have a full opportunity to see and hear everything said during this hearing and to offer comment and ask questions. For those of you accessing the meeting by phone dial-in, you too can hear everything and have an opportunity to comment or ask questions. The instructions on how to participate were also provided in the notice. Since this is a hybrid public comment hearing, we could experience some technical difficulties, such as sound from speakers, including potential background noise, video and audio issues, and potential delays. For those participating in person and those participating via Zoom or by phone, it is imperative for you to speak slowly and clearly to allow a speaker to finish speaking before you begin speaking, and to pay attention to the video of the person speaking. I will raise my hand as a signal if I need to interrupt the person currently speaking to ask them to stop. All comments offered at this hearing will be recorded both in the official transcript and on the YouTube video of this hearing. Note that if you would like to see closed captions on Zoom, press the button at the bottom of the screen that says show captions. You can also select the preferred language of the captions. Next, we'll move on to deadlines. There are different ways in which you can participate in this proceeding, either as a full intervener or as a limited participant. A full intervener has rights to ask discovery questions of the company, present witnesses, ask questions of witnesses testifying at the hearings, file briefs and motions, and appeal the decision of the citing board. A limited participant can receive filings made in this proceeding and file briefs to the citing board. The deadline to file any requests for participation as an intervener or as a limited participant is Friday, July 11th, 2025, and is also the deadline to provide written comments to the citing board as outlined in the notice of the public comment hearing. We encourage anyone who does seek to participate to review the material that we provided in the citing board handbook and the citing board's regulations. Copies of that information are available at the back of the room tonight and available on the citing board website. The link to the citing board website and the citing board webpage for this proposed project is provided in the notice. If you have any questions related to these materials, please send your contact information to my email at connorctar@mass.gov, CONNOR.CTARR@mass.gov. The public comment hearing will begin with a presentation by the company. National Grid has counsel and company representatives who are participating in this public comment hearing. May I have appearances of counsel, please?
Law firm on behalf of New England Power Company doing business as National Grid. Also, I'd like to file appearances for Cheryl Blaine, also from Keith & Werler, and Peter Madsen from Madsen, M-A-D-S-E-N. Thank you.
Oh. Thank you, Attorney Keith. And we'll just note that for the record, moving forward, anyone who wishes to speak, please come up to the microphone, just for clarity. Good. Thank you. I would note the company has provided a certification that the notice for this public comment hearing has been provided consistent with the terms required by the citing board. Would the company like to begin with its presentation regarding the proposed project? After the presentation, we will open the floor for comments and questions from the public. We'll open the floor to you now.
Good evening. I'm Mike Hager, National Grid's project manager for the Palmer to Ware improvement project. I'm going to give a brief overview of the project, showing where the location is, talk a little bit about the structure comparison in there, and the schedule in our outreach program for the project here. So what is the project all about? National Grid has some substations in the area, one on Route 20 in Palmer, one up on Route 32 near Route 9 in Ware. Those substations are served by several transmission lines, including a line that runs between those two stations and connects them. That line we call the 015N line. It operates at 69,000 volts. It's 10.35 miles in length as it runs down the right of way. There's 147 existing structures, 139 of which are wood, 8 of them are steel, and it runs through the towns of Palmer, Ware, and West Brookfield. What the need that's driving this project is an asset condition issue. These are very old wooden poles that has widespread woodpecker damage over the years. And that woodpecker damage is poses a threat to reliability for the line. So we need to go out and replace those poles so we can maintain reliability of the line. There are also some physical issues with that line. It is currently situated off the center of the right of way, so it is towards the edge of the right of way, closer to a tree line. And given the nature of how the conductors are on that line, they do have some exposure to some lightning strikes and so forth. So we'd like to improve those conditions while we're doing the rebuild of the line. This line has had, over the last 25 years, 32 outages. 22 of those were momentary outages, that something struck the line, it disconnected at either end and came back in service fairly quickly. 10 of those outages were sustained outages where we had to go out and make some repairs. So what's the scope of this project? We intend to replace all 147 existing structures, but because of the new configuration and design that we have, we will only need to put 112 structures back in place. We are going to construct this line to a 115 kV standard. So it can operate a slightly higher voltage. Basically, the distance between the wires is a couple feet further apart than had we built it at the 69 kV line. But we will continue to operate the line at 69 kV voltage until such point down the road, should there be large load growth and we need to increase the voltage. We're going to reconductor the entire line. So all the conductor that's up there now is coming down, will be replaced with new conductor. We will be replacing the shield wire. That's the single wire at the top of the structures that serves as the lightning protection up there, with OPGW, an optical ground wire. That wire serves two purposes. It provides the lightning protection that we need for the line. It also allows us to have telecommunications between the two substations rather than having them use public telecommunications networks. We're going to install new grounding and signage in all the structures just to meet our current design standards and safety standards. This right of way is a little rocky, not very well maintained. So we do need to provide slightly better access to all of these structures. So in some cases, we'll just be going along and refreshing the roads, just grading them a little bit, maybe adding a little gravel so that they're stable. In some other areas where we will have to do a little bit of earth removal and placement to provide us some better access for vehicles so that we can get in there and construct this work and have access in the event of a storm and other maintenance down the road. All this work is going to be within the existing right-of-way. For the most part, this line is in a 100-foot wide right-of-way. It's an existing right-of-way. There's no need for us to go in and widen the right-of-way to do this project. We would just need to do vegetation management to cut down some of the existing low growth as part of our regular maintenance plan, and in the areas where we're going to be replacing some new structures. So the benefits of this project, it enables us to address the deteriorated conditions we have on the line. It's going to enable us to improve reliability, not only from stronger structures holding up the conductor, but by placing this closer to the middle of the right-of-way, further away from the tree line. It's going to give us increased capacity. The new conductor will allow us to have higher capacity should that be needed down the line due to low growth. And it's going to help us improve the communications between the two substations. This is a map showing the high-level route and line. So starting at the top, that yellow box there is the Ware substation. Again, it's on Route 32, right around Route 9. The line comes out of there, crosses over the hill, crosses Route 9, comes to a short section of West Brookfield, back through a short section of Ware, and predominantly carries, runs through Palmer, mostly through the state forest up in that area. It does come down across the Mass Pike, crosses Route 20, and into the Palmer substation. That's by the Mass DOT Palmer paving area of Route 20. Schedule for this project, we started permitting back in 2022. That's for a lot of the pre-construction engineering field survey work that we had to do. We're here part of the siting board process for this permit as well. We will continue to work through our remaining permits, and I hope to have those in hand in time to support a July 2027 start of construction date. So the first things that we would do, should I be able to get started in July 2027, would be those access road improvements. So go in there, grading those roads, establishing the access way, doing the vegetation management in the areas that we need to get to. We expect that work to be completed by May of 2028. Shortly after we get those access crews in there to start creating that access way, we would be following up with our foundation and civil crews to go in and start placing new foundations where the new structures are going to be. And placing the bottoms of the structures in place. Our line crews will come in, place the structures, and by December of 2028, we expect to have all the new structures and conductor in place, and the new line in service. Once that line goes in service, between January and May of 29, we would come back with those crews and remove the old line, the old structures, and do restoration of that area, and then be completed. This is a very busy slide showing permits that are needed. I won't go through each one, but basically there are a number of federal permits we need in terms of Army Corps, Fish and Wildlife Service, and other agencies, mostly environmental type permits. The fourth line down there is the siting board process that we're going through now to show that there is a need for this project and that this is the right solution to solve that need that's out there. And there are several other environmental permits we need. We have some wetland areas and habitat issues that we have to deal with. So we're working with those state environmental agencies as well to get permits from them. And then more importantly and more locally, we do have to go to the various conservation commissions in each of these towns because we are impacting some wetlands in each of those communities, and we need to get our permits from the Concoms. I've got a fabulous project team here helping with all sorts of disciplines. But when construction comes to one that really helps me out the best is my outreach team. So our outreach team has been out there making sure folks in the community, and especially those who are near this line, are aware of what we're doing and aren't surprised when July 2027 comes around and we start doing construction. And so their ability to get out there, get the message out, work with those abutters one-on-one if need be, it really helps us from the construction phase of people know what's coming. We understand what their issues and concerns are. We can work with them, be good neighbors, and just get this project done as quickly as we can with the least amount of impact along the way. So right now in this pre-construction phase and for the last several years, they've been out there doing outreach to your town officials. We've been to multiple select boards, providing an overview and presentation of what this project is and why. They've held some open houses. They've gone door to door to meet our neighbors and tell them what's going on. Not just relying on, did you get that thing in the mail or whatever. They're knocking on doors, We have a website where they update the status of the project, and will provide a lot more detail as construction takes place through that website. There's a hotline phone number people can call. It is not manned. Somebody's not sitting there waiting for the phone to ring, but if you call, leave a message, they get back to you very quickly, and they don't ignore that message. There's an email that you can use to send your questions and your concerns, and they will follow up with. And then, they continue to hold the various briefings to and other communications back out to your municipal officials as well as stakeholders along the line. That work keeps on going. Once we get into construction phase, we have a commitment to develop a community outreach plan, so that it's very clear to everyone what our continued outreach is going to be. And that plan will include all of the methods I talked about previously. And more importantly, we will have, as part of that plan, advanced notifications, not only to the municipal officials along the line as to what to expect in the coming weeks, but to stakeholders, especially those who are affected there. So it should be no surprise when somebody shows up doing some work. We would have reached out, we would have told you, we would provide notice, we would have given lots of opportunities. And if that process works well, and the community and the abutters are engaged in that process, there are no surprises, and this project goes a lot smoother during the construction phase. So with that, there is some information here on how we can be contacted in addition to the other methods on our prior slide. So that concludes my presentation.
Thank you. Next, we will proceed with public comments regarding the proposed project. We will begin with federal, state, and local officials appointed as well as elected officials who wish to be heard. Then we will proceed with the members of the public who have signed up to speak in that order in which they have signed up. Finally, we will allow anyone who wishes to speak but who did not have a chance to let us know in advance to speak. When called to speak, if you are participating remotely, we will move you into the Zoom panel so that you can be seen and heard by the Zoom audience as well as those here in the room. Please give your name and address, spell your name, and speak slowly and clearly. Again, please stop speaking if you see me raise my hand. If a company response to a comment or question asked is appropriate, I will ask the company to respond. Okay, we are now ready to hear comments. Please identify yourself, giving your name and the office that you hold for the record. Do we have any federal officials present or on Zoom that wish to comment? Seeing and hearing no response. Are there any state officials present or on Zoom that wish to comment? Seeing and hearing no response. Are there any local officials present or on Zoom that wish to comment? We'll now move to public comments. Next, we'll take comments from members of the public, beginning with those who have pre-registered with the siting board. When called, please give your name, spell your last name, and then give your address. We record. After we've called, or Mr. Gibbs, please come on up and provide your comments, sir.
My name is Ken Gibbs, Gibbs. I live at 108 Smith Street, Palmer, Mass. 01069. Smith Street up at that end is a dirt road. It's a dead end. The road was established in 1985, but the house was built in 1850. So when they established the road, the 40-acre plot got turned into 2 parcels. The reason I say all this is because my well is on the other parcel and the house is on the other side of the road. So my concern about that was the fact that you got some heavy duty equipment coming down that road with a shallow well with maybe pipes 3 feet under the ground. So that was one thing. The well itself, it's under the high power lines, probably 30 to 50 feet away from your structure, which is right across the road. And between those two, there's a little ravine that has a freshwater spring that feeds the ponds. There's 7 ponds and 7 beaver lodges. So they've created quite the wetlands for you guys to work in. The structure itself is in the wetlands. I was out there today looking at the bush, at the cattails and all the swamp type stuff. I talked to your team members and they gave me some good news about it all as far as your plans. Let's see, bear with me here. Oh yeah, I was worried about the construction site. Recently, they did the other power line that's farther up towards Peterson. And the two meet down towards the end. By the way, the other one at each of the structures, it looks nice and all, but it's not near my house. So you got this big, big playground of loose rock. That one structure is like 70 feet from the house. So I was worried about that. That's the same one that's in the wetlands. But I was told that was going to be taken out. And another one further up was going to take its place. So I don't know, I was relieved to hear that.
For clarity, I just want to make sure, are you talking about this current project or are you talking about the previous project that's already?
This current project,
Okay.
yeah, the one right by the house is going to be taken out. And the line will be longer and go further up, so it won't be right by the pond. So like I said, I was very happy to hear that. I think that's about it. I really appreciate the chance to have spoken to y'all. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbs. Is there any comment that the company would like to provide, or has the company reached out and spoken with Mr. Gibbs regarding his concerns specific to the shallow well, as well as the immediate structure?
Yep, my name is Bethany Rocha. I'm with the project engagement team for National Grid. Do I have to say my address?
No.
Thank you.
You can spell your last name.
Oh, Rocha. Yes, we did just speak with Mr. Gibbs. We got his phone number, his information, the things that he's concerned about, and we're gonna set up a site meeting and look at the location of his well and where his water line goes. Should be good.
Thank you. Are there, now I believe that actually concludes all the people that had previously signed up. Is there anyone else who's present here tonight that would like to speak? All right. Is there anyone online that is attending via Zoom that would like to provide comment? Please raise your hand. Okay, there are multiple hands raised via Zoom, so we'll go in order. First hand, Mr. Turner, please provide your name. You are being moved to the panel to provide your comment. Please provide your name, spell your last name, and your address when moved to the panel. Bruce, you may go, or Mr. Turner, you may go ahead. This is the technical difficulty portion. Mr. Turner, we cannot hear you right now. We're gonna move on to the next person with their hand raised for now. Judith, and we will come back to you, Mr. Turner. We're gonna move on now to comments from Judith Lord. We're gonna move you into the panel so that you can provide your comments. Ms. Lord, you are now on the panel. If you would like to unmute yourself.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Yeah, we can. Now it's okay. Now it's okay.
Although I am at Judith Lord's,
I'm Judith.
computer, my name is Paul Corey, and that would be Corey. And I have land on Thompson Street in Palmer. My first question would be, how long has the right-of-way existed? And I have other questions. Can you hear me all right?
Wait, tell me you can't hear.
It is impossible for me to hear you.
One second. Can you hear me now?
Loud and clear, and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corey. Approximately how many questions do you have? I'm trying to just confirm so that we can either, if you have 5 questions, I'd rather have all 5 questions and then provide the floor to the company to potentially provide responses. If you have 25 questions, then we might go a different direction. So could you approximate how many questions you have?
3 or 4 questions, I believe, but I may have more.
You will always be entitled to follow up. Could you provide perhaps I can have someone from the company to provide responses. I'm going to direct the company, approximately how old is the right of way? I know they are aware of that. Again, when you provide your response, please provide your name, spell your last name, and then your response.
Kenneth Dawe, D-A-W-E. I work for Fairwater Engineering. I'm a consultant for National Grid. The 015N line was originally constructed in 1955. So the right-of-way is at least that old. To get a more specific answer, if it's older than that, I would have to take that back and do some research.
Thank you for the response. Mr. Corey, what's your next question?
I would like to find out when he could get back to me with his response, precisely when the right-of-way was established. When can he get back to me? When can we make an appointment to meet in person?
So I'm going to respond to that. Mr. Corey, we can obtain your information tonight, and I can direct the company to reach out to you if they're able to provide a response. The other option would be to, if you are a direct abutter to the project, you could file to intervene in the project so that you would receive all filings within the project as well as provide potential. However, I will let the company answer as well. I'll provide an opportunity for them to provide a response.
Thank you. Mike Hager, Project Manager for National Grid. I don't know if the research will take a day or a week, but we will do the research and get a prompt response back and reach with the contact information. We'll reach directly out to the questioner.
Okay. Your next question, Mr. Corey.
Well, point of information, your right-of-way passes directly through my land. And that's a concern of mine. I want to know what chemicals you're spraying on the land currently.
I'm going to ask if the company is able to provide a response, and I'm just going to frame this. What is the current vegetation management on the right of way, and if there are any chemicals being used as part of that management?
I cannot hear a single word if any words are being spoken.
Um, uh, So Mike Hager, project manager again. I believe mostly we use mechanical versus spray, but I'll have to follow up with our veg management team who's not present this evening. And we'll provide that as part of our response back to Mr. Corey.
Thank you.
Mr. Hager, it would be much
Mr.
appreciated
Corey, I'm going to ask that you direct your questions to me and then I'll direct them back to the company. Just as a
through
point of
you,
order.
through you to Mr. Hager, if he could hold the microphone directly so that he is talking on axis with the microphone and not over the top of the microphone, it would help immensely with the audio quality. Now, so is it through you? Is it determined right now and for the purposes of this meeting that Mr. Hager has no idea whether he's using chemicals or not?
Would the company like to respond?
That is beyond my scope on this project here, and I would have to rely on our veg management team to provide an accurate answer to Mr. Corey.
Thank you.
My next question would be, when are you going to set up a meeting with me? And as a corollary to that question, why do you not know anything about the chemicals before you are having a public meeting? I want a straight answer.
Would the company care to respond?
Yes. Hi, Mr. Corey. This is Bethany Rocha.
Thank
I'm
you.
with the project engagement team. And first, what was your first question?
Why don't you know what chemicals you're using before you have a meeting?
Okay. First, I would say that our vegetation management crews do use targeted pesticides on individual plants. We can't speak to it because we're not the vegetation management crew, but also specifically for this project, he said we'll use mechanical mowing because we're not going to be doing targeted spraying. If that makes sense.
I don't think you answered my question.
We don't have a list of the pesticides or whatever we use when we're spraying because that's not what we're doing with this project.
May I remind you that you're having a public meeting that is being recorded and you are coming to the meeting unprepared? I want to know what chemicals you have sprayed in the past, and I would like to know that right now.
Mr. Corey,
Yes.
I'm going to say that that is currently outside of the scope of this meeting right now. The scope of this meeting is the construction of the new structures within the right-of-way and replacement of the conductor within the right-of-way. The company has provided a response regarding the mechanical mowing within the right-of-way regarding this project. I believe your question is directed towards the company in general for ongoing vegetation management, and that question would be appropriately directed to the company in a different venue. This isn't the appropriate venue for that question.
I will accept that for now. My other question was, when will you be meeting with me to answer my questions?
I'll invite the company to respond.
Yes, since we will have your information from this meeting, we can get back to you as soon as we have the answers, but I can also get back to you sooner to let you know a time frame in which we will have answers so we can meet with you.
I have in my hand an envelope where you mailed me notice. So you certainly do have my name. You know exactly where I live and you know how to reach me in writing. And I want everything in writing. And I would expect that to happen well before July 11th. I would expect that to happen probably within 96 hours, if that is possible.
For clarity, Mr. Corey, the July 11th date is the deadline for written comments and for petitions for intervention, as well as petitions for limited participation within the project that is being presented for the petition in front of the EFSB siting board.
My next question I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I am sorry.
That's okay. So for clarity, your request for meeting with the company is not directly related to the deadline that I have instituted regarding written comments. You may submit written comments up and until the July 11th date. That is when you would submit them to the siting board. That is not a deadline for you to have communications with the company. Just for clarity, I want to make sure that that deadline is not associated with those two things. Those are not related.
Next question, please. Will I be getting a copy of the recording of this meeting?
Copy of the recording will be provided on YouTube and is public information that you can find it through the notice or as well as on the Energy Facilities Siting Board website, a link to it.
Next
Yes,
question.
it will be public comment.
Next question. I may wish to, depending on the results of the meeting that the company has not yet made with me, I may wish to submit something in writing before July 11th as a direct result of that meeting. So that if the meeting is put off till after July 11th, how can I respond in a cogent fashion?
I would encourage you to file anything regarding the project with the Energy Facilities Siting Board as often and as ready as you are able to do so. July 11th is the deadline, not a timeline for when you should be submitting.
My next question. Am I incorrect in hearing that you want to be good neighbors? Did I hear that incorrectly?
I will invite the company to respond.
Mike Hager, project manager. Yes, National Grid seeks to be a good neighbor all across its service territory.
My next question, Mike, when will I be meeting with you?
I will ask if the project manager would like to respond on behalf of the company.
Mr. Corey has raised two issues. One is when was the original right-of-way established, which will take a little bit of research. So I don't know if I can get back and answer that in days or weeks. He's also raised some questions about our current vegetation management practices, which are well known by our vegetation management crew. So I will work with our outreach folks to promptly respond, hopefully within a week or a few days, to at least be able to address the concerns Mr. Curry has about vegetation management issues while we continue to find out how quickly we can respond to the other one. So I would hope that we can quickly turn around and have a discussion relative to veg management issues. I just need to find availability of our team members for that.
Thank you.
My next question.
Next question, Mr. Corey.
How amenable is the company to extending the July 11th deadline?
For clarity, the July 11th deadline is the siting board deadline. It's not the company's imposed deadline. That doesn't mean that you couldn't still submit any additional comments that you'd like to make. That's just that is a deadline regarding intervention for the project. And in order to incorporate comments into the project as well as evidence moving forward, we'd like to have all of the written comments from the public prior to moving forward with the process. So that is a siting board deadline. That is not a company deadline.
Next question. Can you ask the siting board to extend the deadline?
So I'm a presiding officer, which is working as staff for the deadline. Mr. Corey, if you'd like to submit additional written comments, I encourage you to do so. If your deadline that you're referring to is for written comments that you'd like to make regarding the project, I encourage you to make any comments that you would like to, and you can submit them to me. My email address is in the notice that was provided to you that you have shown to us tonight, as well as to the DPU filing room, which would be to the docket that is for this case.
My next question, who will be reading comments from me or from anyone?
That would be Energy Facilities Siting Board staff. So the two gentlemen next to me, this is the director, this is the assistant director, as well as a number of analysts that we have working on staff. And The company would be provided a copy of the comments as well. So if appropriate, we could have a direct response from the company.
I'm not sure I understand what you said just then.
You at,
The siting board people are seated to your left and to your right. Is that correct? And they're the people who'll be reading comments?
yes. So there are a number of people that will read the comments that are provided in a project. Two of them would be the staff members to my left and to my right. We have additional staff members that are not present tonight at the Energy Facility Siting Board that are analysts that will also read your comments. Those analysts, as well as myself, will generate a number of questions that will be provided to the company. So those comments typically end up being provided and worked into questions to get a response. So the company will be asked those questions as part of the process moving forward.
I want to thank you very much for your courtesy and your time, all of you, everyone, including the other people in the room. And I do appreciate that this meeting has happened. And my other comments will have to wait until after I get results of my questions. So I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Corey. I look forward to your written comments moving forward. All right, Ms. Corey, we're going to move you, or Ms. Lord, do you have any, out of curiosity, do you have any questions?
No,
Okay.
no, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. We're going to move you out of the panel at this time. We're going to see if we can get our other person that had raised their hand back on the panel. Oh, that was her. All right. Correction, those were the two people that were on the panel. Oh. Correction, Bruce Turner has left the panel and has left the current meeting. Is there anyone else on Zoom video chat that would like to provide any additional comments regarding the project? If so, please raise your hand. All right. Seeing and hearing no response, at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for participating. I would like to remind you that comments and requests for participation are due Friday, July 11th, 2025. We welcome your input and questions. That information is invaluable to our review of the proposed project. If you have access to email and have questions relating to tonight's hearing or want clarification on the siting board's review of this case or anything else related to this hearing, please email me at Connor, CONNOR, _C, TARR, @mass.gov. I'd like to thank everyone for their participation tonight and for the comments and questions that you've offered regarding National Grid's proposed project. Thank you very much and have a good evening.